I would like to invite you to come with me on a journey back in time. Remember the story of Joseph in the book of Genesis. This young man is sent by his father to his brothers on the fields. They were with the sheep. So this young man, Joseph, at that time didn't have a mother. In fact, his mother died when she gave birth to his brother Benjamin. So he goes out with food and he goes to see how are his brothers doing. Sadly, they betray him. They sell him. This young man doesn't have a mother. This young man is sold by his own brothers. He is sold as a slave. He is taken away by strangers. How do you think the strangers treated a slave? He didn't have any rights. This young man seemed to have every odd go against him. And as his life moves on, he lives in the house of a master. He is falsely accused by the wife of his master, and he ends up in jail. So let's review. He doesn't have a mother. He's sold by his own brothers. He is a slave, and he's falsely accused. How do you think his life was? Did he still stay faithful? I would like you to come with me on Genesis chapter 40, and let's read just a couple of verses and see what's in the mind of this young man whose life seemed to go, strangely enough, in the wrong direction. He was doing everything right and nothing was going well for him. One morning, Joseph noticed that two prisoners that were in prison with him didn't look the same. So let's read Genesis chapter 40, verse 7. So he asked Pharaoh's officers who were with him in custody of his Lord's house, saying, "Why do you look so sad today?" Can you imagine this? Joseph, who didn't have a mother, who was sold by his brothers, who was a slave, who was falsely accused, who had every reason to be sad, he's asking others, "Why do you look so sad today?" Would you like to be like Joseph? Life was tough for him. To be away from your family for so long, to know that your father has no idea what happened to you, to miss your family so much, and yet to notice when someone else is sad and ask them, "Why do you look so sad today?" Maybe you are sad today. We have different reasons why we can be sad. Maybe we are worried about ourselves. Maybe we are worried about someone else. Maybe sometimes we are worried about either we will be saved or not, or either some of our family members will be saved or lost. I was talking with my father on the phone maybe a couple of weeks ago, and he wanted to read me something about worry. And I would like to read that to you. It's a powerful passage that I think will make a huge difference in your life. So this passage is found in the book called Steps to Christ. I have the book right here behind me, and I'm going to read this passage to you. Now please, if you can, pay attention and see if this applies to you in any way, because it does apply to me. Steps to Christ, chapter Growing Up into Christ, page 71. When the mind dwells upon self, it is turned away from Christ, the source of strength and life. Hence, it is Satan's constant effort to keep the attention diverted from the Savior and thus prevent the union and communion of the soul with Christ. The pleasures of the world, life's cares and perplexities and sorrows, the faults of others, or your own faults and imperfections. To any or all of these, he will seek to divert the mind. Who? Satan will seek to divert your mind and my mind. Do not be misled by his devices. Many who are really conscientious and who desire to live for God, maybe it's you. He, Satan, too often leads to dwell upon their own faults and weaknesses, and thus by separating them from Christ, he hopes to gain the victory. We should not make self the center and indulge anxiety and fear as to whether we shall be saved. Have you wondered if you will be saved? I did. But we should not make self the center of this. We shall not be worried about either we'll be saved or not. All this turns the soul away from the source of our strength. Commit the keeping of your soul to God and trust in Him. Talk and think about Jesus. Let self be lost in Him. This is amazing. Now listen to this. Put away all doubt. Dismiss your fears. Say with the Apostle Paul, I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by the faith of the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. Galatians 2:20. Rest in God. You know, the world is not resting. People talk about peace, prosperity. There's no peace in the world. There's no rest in the world. The true peace and the true rest comes being in God. He, Christ, is able to keep that which you have committed to Him. Just commit your soul to Him. He is able to keep it. If you will leave yourself in His hands, He will bring you off more than a conqueror through Him that has loved you. What do you think about this passage? It's amazing. I was told that this passage needs to be framed and put on the wall for us to remember. Every time we worry, every time we look sad, to remember to entrust ourselves to Christ. Whatever we entrust to Him, He is able to keep it. Would you like to entrust your soul to Christ today? If it's possible for you to get on your knees today and say, Lord, I have a tendency to get upset. I have a tendency to be sad. I have a tendency to worry. I worry about myself. I worry about others. I worry about my salvation. I worry about the salvation of my family. How about I entrust this to you? Lord, I cannot keep it. You keep my soul. You take care of my family. You bring your peace in my heart. And you dwell in me. May God help you and help me as well. And when you see someone sad, ask the question just like Joseph did. Why do you look so sad today? Thank you.